started edX and put a lot of money into it, and I certainly think all of our partner universities as well. Actually, their primary driver, I think, is in understanding better what drives educational outcomes. It's in pedagogical research. So again, we provide the platform open source, and we provide all of our analytical data to all of the partners so that we can engage in really deep inside research on what works, what doesn't work. Now, marketing is one side effect. Marketing is important to, I believe, all of our partner organizations. But I'd be surprised if it's the primary driver.
And revenue is not the primary driver either.
For us it isn't. We're a non-profit. We need to be sustainable, so to the extent that we're sustainable. But to universities, there is a differentiator between what happens in Asia, what happens in Europe, and what happens in North America. Definitely. I think in North America there is very much a cost pressure that is, university presidents every day, they hear from their board, hey, you got to reduce cost, you got to reduce cost. I don't know whether Patrick has the same kind of pressure here at EPFL necessarily. I'm sure he gets pressure, but it's government subsidized. Yeah. The demographics, again, vary substantially by course. It's predominantly, let's call it what it is, white males in the age group of 20 to 28 at this point. However, there are courses, we had a course on global poverty, where it was very much developed nation, people from developed nations, so a much higher percentage.
20 to 28 means essentially students.
That's the vast majority of people. I'd say 30 to 40%, about 25% are continuing learners, and the rest are high school students to retirees.
Coursera's MOOCs are having the biggest impact is not on college students, although there are plenty of those as well, is instead on continuing higher education. The median age of a student on Coursera is 35. 75% of our students already have a bachelor's degree. The courses where that have the best conversions to signature track tends to be courses that are useful for enhancing your career. So I think for Coursera, from Coursera's perspective, where MOOCs are having the biggest impact is, I think the old model of college education, where you go to school for 4 years and then the next 40 years of your life coast on what you had learned, that makes no sense in today's world, and all of us need regular infusions of knowledge in order to stay current. So the biggest impact of Coursera so far is on bringing many working adults back to the higher education system because of the convenience of these online courses. Now, there are about 20% of 20-25% of students that don't yet have a bachelor's degree, with plenty of high school students, some current college students, but that's not where the bulk of center of gravity. We've been experimenting with ways to allow students to generate content, with the wiki being one, and we've had a few other experiments. It turns out that I think Coursera has been doing a pretty good job working with universities to take university content and make it broadly available. I think there's also a lot of value to be created in student content. So we've been running pilots, for example, on bringing students together into live video chat, because some of the best content is if the two of us sit together and Simon tells me exactly the answer to the question that I have that I ask him in person. So we've been experimenting with how to do social learning. Maybe a quick story. It turns out that if you bring together 5 students in a live video chat, like a Google Hangout, and you do the obvious thing, it doesn't work. The conversation is really boring. The conversation goes, why are you taking this class? Why are you taking this class? Why are you taking this class? But we've learned that if you structure more content around it, and we've learned that if you slowly ramp up the level of emotional intimacy, if you have students first exchange their bios, and then have them exchange email, and then have them engage in live text chat, and only then step it up to live video chat and tell them specific topics you'd like them to talk about, then you get much richer engagements, and students actually form personal bonds with each other.
The number of people who actually complete courses when they pre-buy those verified certificates is 80-90%?
Varies by cause, mid 68%.
Sorry, 68%.
But if you say you're highly motivated to complete and you pre-buy, then I think it's 90%.
I mean, and I think what we're intrigued by is that idea of bringing a sort of premium track earlier in the process of someone doing a course, and actually using it as a motivator to help them achieve their own aims, rather than purely as a financial.
We have to recognize that creating MOOCs is actually a huge challenge. Perhaps perhaps most salient is the point that the effort required to create a MOOC can be really daunting. So recently we implemented a partner survey among our partner instructors, asking them the question, how much time did you spend preparing for your MOOC? And the responses ranged from about 10-15 hours to upwards of 1,600 hours. There was even one response from one instructor who said that it was all my life that I spent creating and preparing for the MOOC. And the numbers averaged out to about 250 hours.